It's a Mediterranean woodland in Croatia. This ecosystem is also found in North Africa, South Africa, California, Chile, and even in Australia, as well as throughout the whole Mediterranean area. These woods boast a unique wildlife. The biggest and best conserved Mediterranean woodland of the whole planet lies in southern Europe. It's the Monfragüe Biosphere Reserve. Monfragüe Biosphere Reserve. There are more than 600 UNESCO-designated biosphere reserves around the world. It's the highest badge of honor for any nature site. To be eligible for Biosphere Reserve designation, a site must have a high ecological value, and its conservation has to be completely compatible with local livelihoods. In biosphere reserves, humankind forms part of the whole environmental balance. In the south of Europe, in the west of Spain, lies Monfragüe, one of the world's most important biosphere reserves. Here, humankind has always lived in perfect harmony with nature and has also helped to protect its wildlife, as we'll see throughout this documentary. This harmonious coexistence is even reflected in the street art of its towns and villages. As the year wears on, Monfragüe's natural events occur in their own time-honored sequence, alongside the traditional livelihoods that are the reserve's raison d'être. Autumn comes late in Mediterranean woods. In Monfragüe, summer sometimes lingers on until mid-October. Until the autumn rains fall, the land will remain pretty dry after the arid summer. Local fauna tends to seek out the brooks and streams that have managed to hang on to some water. Lurking there too, however, are predators like the tench. This worm's minutes are counted. Livestock slake their thirst in the farm ponds created by man. Some birds drop in too, like the scarce black stork. The grey heron also comes here to try its luck at fishing. The fox looks for food but doesn't find any. Every living being now is waiting for the rain. But they have to keep feeding meanwhile, like this field mouse. This is one of the last chances for the ladder snake to build up a store of energy before hibernating during the late autumn and winter. The mouse has smelt the snake, but doesn't know where it is. And the snake has locked onto the mouse. At last, autumn breaks out in all its glory. Acorns rain down from home and cocorks. Many animals feed from this bounty. The landscape recovers its verdure, especially the Dahasas. These open grazing woods are unique in the world. They have been cleared of undergrowth by man to raise livestock and grow crops, whilst always respecting the trees. As we'll see throughout the documentary, the Dahasa is the ideal habitat for countless species. The highly prized Iberian pig also feeds on the carpet of acorns cast down by the oaks of the Dahasas. This animal is the source of Spain's famed jamón ibérico, one of the many culinary delicacies found in Monfragüe's Biosphere Reserve. Nights are cooler now, but rodents remain active. The genet and beech marten try to sniff out the mouse, but they don't manage to track it down. The eagle owl, Europe's biggest nocturnal raptor, has been luckier with a rabbit. The mouse, having successfully evaded the genet and beech marten, passes in front of the deadly lair. It's been very lucky. The Latast viper, almost ready for hibernation, is somewhat lethargic by now. Winter arrives. Many birds from Central and Northern Europe flee the icy cold and migrate south. Many of them come to the Monfragüe Biosphere Reserve, where winters are milder. The newly arrived cranes seem to be in a celebratory mood. They will feed off the acorns all winter long in the famous Dahasas. In winter, mornings are dreamlike. Sometimes, mist wraiths stillness reigns. Griffon vultures begin to pair off in January. The courting ritual is a show of parallel formation flying. Although Cinereus vulture will nest later, they also begin to woo during the coldest days. This pair has a long bond and will breed again in the coming spring. The days are short and the nights are long. Diurnal raptors have fewer daylight hours to hunt in. Bouts of aggression are constant between red kites and buzzards. Between these two species, there is an ancestral rivalry. As the day wanes, the skirmishes go on and on. The golden eagle, Europe's mightiest raptor, doesn't have this rivalry problem. No other bird would dare to vie for the same prey. The sheer variety of birds living in the Monfragüe Biosphere Reserve is staggering. This has made it a birding tourism hotspot. The Tagus, running through the reserve, is the longest river in the whole Iberian Peninsula. Its main tributary, the Taitar, also looks splendid at this time of year, as do all the teeming streams and brimming pools. The dehasas look luxuriant in winter. The red deer and the livestock find easy pickings and help to keep the dehasas undergrowth free and, as such, attractive for so many species of fauna. The open dehasa landscape makes life easier for so many species, like the vultures that are always on the lookout for any moribund sheep or cow. On the edge of the dehasa, a European endemic lurks. It's the Egyptian mongoose, Europe's only mongoose species. It smelled something, but it was too late. Skyborne activity heralds the death of a sheep. The vultures help to keep the reserve clean. The male we earlier saw, so tender with the female, is now very belligerent with the rest of the vultures. It wants to share food stores only with its mate. It's in fine fettle and fends off all comers in front of its admiring mate. The vultures take to the skies again, and down on the ground, there's nothing left. At the end of winter, things switch around. The days get longer, and temperatures pick up. The wintering birds return to northern Europe, and the first buds blossom. Spring comes early in the Monfragüe Biosphere Reserve. In the mixed woodland, a goshawk visits a nest in which a webcam has been fitted. But it's not the bird's nest. It belongs to a rival species that has bred in this tree for several years. The goshawk is wary of its return. At the same time, still a long way from Monfragüe, the nest's rightful owner crosses the Strait of Gibraltar. It's a male booted eagle that has spent the winter in Africa. Its years-long mate is a dark moor female, which is making its own way back to the same wood, where both will soon join up. Spring is now in full swing. The hills and dehasas are cloaked in flowers. Birdsong now rings out not only in the national park, but also in the whole surrounding Monfragüe Biosphere Reserve. Hoopoes, swallows, and black kites have also come back from Africa to breed here, and they're high-spirited on arrival. Deep in the woodland shade, acts of witchcraft occur. The swallowtail is converting from a caterpillar into one of the world's most beautiful butterflies. Another one of Monfragüe's wonders is a bird that breeds only in the Iberian Peninsula, the Spanish imperial eagle. Its mate is already incubating and the male spends all day close by on the watch. The imperial eagle is the Mediterranean woodland's flagship species. The male booted eagle has now got back to its nest. It calls out to its mate while it checks for any damage to its nest during its absence. Its companion, meanwhile, mobbed by a feisty woodchat shrike, is doing its best to eat in a nearby dehesa. In early April, birds continue to stream across the Strait of Gibraltar to Spain. This pair of Egyptian vultures will soon get back to Monfragüe. The scarce lesser kestrels have just got back from Africa. They breed in some of the towns and villages of the Biosphere Reserve. Courtship starts as soon as they arrive. Streets and squares take part in nature's festival. From mid-April onwards, the red deer stag's antlers begin to grow again. This alpha male was last year's winner in all the rutting battles and wants to reign again when the crunch comes at the end of summer. At the same time, the first coots have been born in the nearby wetland of Arocampo. Breeding is underway throughout the whole reservoir. The pair of Egyptian vultures has now returned. Their feeding behavior is tied in with the other carrion eaters, specializing in the small leftovers at the end. Here comes our male Cinereus vulture. Its mighty 3-meter wingspan is intimidatingly impressive. It's in an especially testy mood because its offspring is about to hatch. No other bird dares to snaffle its food. The sun is waxing. The scenery changes as spring marches on. Red deer does and ewes give birth in the same spots in Monfragüe. Yet another example of the excellent balance struck between human and natural activities. The red-legged partridge chicks are now well grown. Their mother is teaching them how to live in the Mediterranean woodland. Now she's showing them how to take a sand bath. But she remains on the QV. The mothers heard the magpie's alarm call. The Egyptian mongoose is on the prowl nearby. The grasshopper loses its nerve and lands in the worst possible place, right by the praying mantis. Nearby, in the Cinereus vulture's nest, the prince has now been born. His mother feeds him delicately, while Dad watches proudly on. A tardy breeder, the barbel doesn't start courting until late May. The males then scrap over the best spawning sites. The female spawns and the male instantly fertilizes the eggs without any actual contact between male and female. This is a bonanza time for otters. In the booted eagle's nest, the male is incubating. The female then takes over incubation duties so the male can go grab himself some lunch. At the same time, the goshawk, which was checking out the nest at the end of winter, keeps an eye on what's going on. Minutes pass by, and an eerie silence falls on the wood. It's now or never. The goshawk attacks. The impact was brutal, as slow motion shows. Under the tree, the fight goes on, but the Nest camera doesn't pick it up. The eagle seems to have come out the winner, and without apparent injuries. The goshawk disappeared without a trace. Summer is coming in and the night sky is stunning. The Monfragüe Biosphere Reserve has been designated as one of Europe's prime starlight tourist destinations. Blithely unaware of the star watchers, the red-necked nightjar feeds its chicks. Due to the daytime heat, mammals now become more active at night. The Latastes viper's venom takes effect in seconds. In the booted eagle's nest, the miracle has occurred. The food comes at the best time. The chick's first mouthful. Its sibling will soon be hatched alongside it. In the less lacustrine colonies, the chicks are quite big by now. The disputes over prey are fractious. This parent is no longer sure which are its own offspring. This mother manages to identify one of them. At last it can eat in peace, or maybe not. Summer arrives. The mother of the Cinereus vulture chick shades it from the heat. Nearby, some weird noises do not worry the mother. This is another sustainable form of land use. The cork is harvested without harming the trees, which are then protected for the next crop. Many products are obtained from the cork, including wine stoppers. Nearby, the great stag, whose antlers had barely sprouted back in April, looks splendid in June. The velvet covering the antlers will soon fall off, and the stags will then be ready for the late summer rutting malaise. In the booted eagle's nest, the chicks are growing quickly. The pair of Egyptian mongoose are by now moving about with their 3 young. Perfectly heat-adapted, this family goes out hunting right in the middle of the day when temperatures are highest. They eat insects, reptiles, and small mammals. In the height of summer, the heat is sweltering. The birds bathe regularly. And even for drinking, there's a queue. The red deer also seek out water, including the alpha stag. A disquieting sound puts all animals on red alert. The Egyptian mongooses have caught a rabbit. All the family members want to eat, and the tension grows. They're bold and dogged. In the end, the father restores some order. Although one of his offspring carries off a healthy chunk. Perils abound on all sides. The imperial eagle chick has now left its nest and will soon be on its own. the mobbing magpies know it's inexperienced. Anyway, perched, it's less dangerous. They're playing with death. But the mother comes back, and they instantly lose the urge to goad her son. In the Cinereus vulture's nest, the chick is now very big. The booted eagle chicks are also as big as their parents. At times, in high summer, the weather swings wildly in Monfragüe. Clouds boil up and the sky grows wrathful. The golden eagle doesn't seem to be bothered. But there are sometimes hailstones. These are hazardous times for the booted eagle family. The mother weathers the storm. She will die for her offspring if need be. Luckily, the hailstorm is over soon. There are no apparent injuries in the area. The scenery is still ochre-colored in August, recalling African savanna. The adult male booted eagle summons its young. If they want to eat, they'll have to leave the nest. But the nest is empty. The father insists. Nerves are on edge. Finally, the father flies over the nest with the prey to see what's going on. Everything is in order. The young were already outside the nest. This will be the last time he brings them food. The Egyptian vulture chick has also left the nest, but it's still begging for food. From now on, it will have to fend for itself. September is fast approaching, and mornings are a bit cooler. This triggers another great spectacle at Monfragüe Biosphere Reserve, the rutting red stag show. The alpha stags gather the biggest number of does they can. These harems, coveted by the other stags, spark off constant bouts of rivalry. The stag with the greyish pelt is the old, expert male that, for yet another year, is striving to hold off his rivals. The challenges come from many fronts. The opponents are strong and vigorous. A sprightly young male gets too close and upsets the harem. He's getting uppity. The harem owner attacks. Charging the challenger again and again. The old stag's throne is slipping away. One side of his antlers has even snapped off. In a desperate, last-ditch effort, he tries to grab back his power. The old-timer pulls out all the stops, spending all his remaining energy. The young pretender counters and holds off the attack. Injured and fatally weakened, the old male retires, groaning. He won't be back. The new king struts his stuff. Meanwhile, the summer visitors are off to Africa, where they'll spend autumn and winter. Most birds, however, will remain on the reserve all year. In the midst of a dehesa lies the old, dethroned stag. The griffon vultures turn up, and the inevitable brawls break out. Our family of Cinereus vultures also put in an appearance. It's the youngster's first try at finding its own food. Soon enough, it will soon have to cope with all the trials and tribulations of living in the wild. Summer ends. A new period begins. The young Egyptian mongooses will be independent by autumn. Reptiles are getting ready for hibernation. The winter visitors will soon be back. And after the winter, spring will break out anew in all its splendor. The summer visitors will come back to raise their broods here. And at the end of summer, the rutting stag's bellows will again resound around the reserve. And so it goes here every year. It's a place where man and nature pull together, creating between them the world's best conserved Mediterranean woodland, the Monfragüe Biosphere Reserve.